The night was unusually still, the kind of stillness that feels almost heavy, pressing against your ears. I remember lying in bed, the dinosaur-print covers pulled up to my chin, my eyes tracing the glow-in-the-dark stars on my ceiling. It was way past my bedtime, but sleep seemed to play hide and seek with me. Suddenly, the room grew colder, a chill that seeped through the covers. I shivered, pulling the blanket tighter around me. That's when I saw her, my mother, standing at the foot of my bed. She was smiling, a soft, comforting smile that always made me feel safe. "Mom," I whispered, my voice barely audible. She didn't reply, just kept smiling and waving gently. Her presence was oddly calming, and I remember thinking how nice it was that she came to check on me. Then, without a word, she turned and walked towards my closet. The closet door was ajar, and she slipped through it, her figure partially obscured by the hanging clothes. I sat up, rubbing my eyes, wondering if I was dreaming. "Mom," I called out again, a bit louder this time. There was no response, just the soft rustling of clothes as the closet door creaked shut. My heart began to race, a mix of fear and confusion gripping me. I lay back down, trying to make sense of what I had seen. Maybe she was just looking for something, I thought, or maybe she was playing a game. I closed my eyes, forcing myself to sleep, the image of her waving etched in my mind. The next morning, I awoke to the sound of birds chirping and the smell of pancakes. I jumped out of bed and raced to the kitchen, where my mother was flipping pancakes on the griddle. "Mom, were you in my room last night?" I asked, my curiosity getting the better of me. She looked at me, a puzzled expression on her face. "No, honey, I wasn't." "Why do you ask?" I told her about what I had seen, about her waving and entering the closet. She listened attentively, then gently ruffled my hair. "It must have been a dream, sweetheart. I was in bed all night. But it felt so real, not like a dream at all." I couldn't shake the feeling that what I had seen was more than just a figment of my imagination. Years passed, and the incident became a distant memory, a strange blip in my childhood. I had a couple of similar experiences, but none as vivid as that night. Each time, I convinced myself it was just a dream, a trick of the mind. It wasn't until I was older that I began to wonder if what I had experienced was a hallucination. The idea both fascinated and unnerved me. Had my young mind created these images, or was there something more to it? I started reading about childhood hallucinations, trying to find answers. Some articles spoke of vivid imaginations, others of psychological phenomena, but nothing I read seemed to fit exactly with what I had experienced. The more I thought about it, the more I realized that these experiences, real or imagined, had shaped a part of me. They had sown the seeds of curiosity, a desire to understand the unknown. I remember one evening, sitting alone in my room, the walls adorned with posters of bands and movie stars. I found myself staring at the closet door, half expecting it to creak open. But it remained firmly shut, as it always had. The rational part of me knew that there was nothing out of the ordinary about that closet. Yet, a part of me couldn't help but wonder. Sometimes, late at night, I would lie awake, thinking about that night. The memory was like a faded photograph, the edges blurred with time. Yet the feeling of seeing my mother's figure, the sense of her presence, was as clear as ever. I talked to my mother about it once again, years later. She listened, her eyes reflecting a mix of concern and wonder. "Maybe there are things we can't explain," she said softly. "Maybe some mysteries are meant to remain just that, mysteries." That conversation stayed with me, a comforting thought in the back of my mind. It made me feel less alone, less afraid of the unexplainable. Now, as an adult, I look back at those experiences with a sense of awe. They remind me that there is so much about this world, about our minds, that we don't understand. Perhaps it was just a child's imagination, running wild in the quiet of the night. Or perhaps it was something more, a glimpse into a world beyond our understanding. Either way, those nighttime visions, real or imagined, became a part of who I am. They taught me to embrace the mysteries of life, to seek understanding, but also to accept the unknown. And in the quiet of the night, I sometimes find myself smiling at the thought of that gentle wave, a reminder of the endless possibilities that exist in the shadows of our minds.